I'm Shelley Savage, and I'm co-founder and CEO of CardioThrive. I'm going to share with you a compelling idea that would make a difference in hundreds of thousands of people in the United States and millions across the world. It's a way to combat a killer that takes the life of nearly 1,000 people each and every day in our country. It's a killer that strikes with absolutely no warning at all. It can happen to anyone at any time. And that killer is sudden cardiac arrest. First, I'd like to explain the difference between sudden cardiac arrest and a heart attack. If I can advance to the next slide. It's not working. There we go. Okay, two very different things, but they're often confused. A heart attack is kind of a plumbing problem in that a blockage develops in an artery or a major blood vessel. And the heart is pumping blood, but the blockage is preventing the blood from getting through. So with a heart attack, you'd have symptoms, and you'd have time to get to the hospital. Sudden cardiac arrest is an electrical problem. The electrical impulses that naturally occur in the heart muscle will all of a sudden go haywire, and the heart will begin to fibrillate. It's in a rapid state of quivering, so much so that it can't pump blood. So the victim of sudden cardiac arrest will just drop to the floor, unconscious. No symptoms, no warning. And the only hope of survival is to receive a life-saving shock with a defibrillator, ideally within the first 3 to 4 minutes. Now, we've all seen AEDs, which is short for automatic external defibrillators. They're hanging on the wall everywhere, all over the world. But the interesting thing to me is there really haven't been any new innovations to AEDs in over 25 years. They're all basically the same, just different colors. So we obviously understand the importance of having AEDs out in public places, but it begs the question, if they're out there for anyone to use at any time, why are so many people still dying of sudden cardiac arrest? Well, we took a look at how serious the problem really is, and the data was pretty shocking. 7 million deaths occur worldwide from sudden cardiac arrest. 360,000 out-of-hospital sudden cardiac arrests occur every year in the United States alone. It takes an ambulance an average of 9 minutes to arrive at the scene, and then once they arrive, only about 5% of those patients will survive. And only 1% of the patients are actually saved by public access AEDs. And we also understood that there are about 3 different reasons why so many people are dying, even though there seems to be plenty of AEDs around. Well, turns out that's not true. There are only about 2.5 million AEDs available in public places, and a recent study shows that the need is closer to 29 million, so there's a severe shortage. The second reason is that you have to assemble them before you can use them. And for anyone not trained to use an AED, they are incredibly intimidating and scary to use, and people won't use them. Out of fear, they'll stay back and wait for somebody else to step up and deliver the life-saving shock. And the third reason is they're often forgotten about. So keeping them well-maintained and in good working order is also a problem. Now, I want you to take notice of something very important. The next time you hear or read a news story about someone who collapses from sudden cardiac arrest and survives, take a look at the person who delivers the shock. It's always an off-duty physician, nurse, EMT, or somebody who's been trained to use the device. Anyone who you hear about who drops from sudden cardiac arrest and does not survive, there was either no AED available, or worse, there was an AED available and no one used it, or it didn't work. And this is completely unnecessary. Our goal is to change all of that. We figured out specifically what wasn't working and why, and we came up with a much better solution: the pocket defib. It's small enough to take with you anywhere. It was specifically designed to fit in the zipper pocket on the back of a biking shirt, so it's truly pocket-sized. And even better, there's no assembly required. It's 83% smaller than the next available AED on the market. It's all one piece, there's no assembly, and it's fully automatic. All you do is you pull it apart, put it on the chest, and that's it. It'll take care of everything else. The nice thing is that it will, if it senses that the heart is still in a life-threatening arrhythmia, It will recharge by itself and deliver shocks in regular intervals until it senses it's back in normal sinus rhythm. So our design is pretty unique. The two halves of the AED are the electrode pads, so there's no electrode pad wires to plug in. When you pull it apart, that initiates the charge sequence, and each half of the device begins to charge. When you press it on the chest, then the electrode pads will sense the arrhythmia and it will deliver a shock automatically. You don't have to push a button or do anything. And again, as I said, it will recharge and it will deliver other shocks in regular intervals if that's required. So the market, the numbers for 2019 are still being tabulated, but it's estimated to be in the $900 million range. And as sudden cardiac arrest and the use of defibrillators kind of becomes more known and more prevalent, the market is expected to expand to $2 billion by 2025, and then up to $3.1 billion within the next 10 years. Now, there's always the professional use market, which would be hospitals, clinics, nursing homes, et cetera, and we will certainly target that, but these numbers are for our top global end user markets, which are pre-hospital, which would be police officers, EMTs, first responders, public access AEDs, and home care. So our business model kind of offers a lot of flexibility here. You can either purchase one, or you'll be able to lease it, which makes much more sense for those who don't want to spend $1,000 or more up front. And the nice thing about this AED that's unlike any other AED is that this is single use. So once you use it, send it back to us and we'll send you a fresh one, fully charged and ready to go. So you'll never be without one, and we'll take care of all the maintenance. Here's a diagram showing how we're positioned amongst our competitors. So not only is the pocket defib smaller and more portable, but it's less expensive. So this will allow us to capture a larger segment of the consumer market. We've raised $3.2 million in seed money so far, and we've accomplished quite a lot with that. In 2015, we received the Enabling Technology Leadership Award from Frost & Sullivan. We've completed 183 successful clinical trials at the Mayo Clinic, and the Mayo Clinic is one of our lead investors. During our clinical trials, we were able to prove the efficacy of a new multiphasic waveform that was presented by the Mayo Clinic at the 2016 Heart Rhythm Society Conference. Now, this waveform enables us to deliver a therapeutic shock at only 23 joules of energy, whereas a biphasic waveform, which is what everyone uses now, is about 140 joules of energy. So this is a huge breakthrough. All of our clinical trials were published in PACE Medical Journal in February of 2017. And we have a very impressive patent portfolio. We have 13 patents that have been issued in the United States so far. All 13 have been also filed in 16 countries. Many have been issued in those other countries as well. So we've been incredibly efficient with the money that we've raised. We've done all of our clinical trials and we've secured our intellectual property. And we are seeking a $25 million Series A raise so that we can bring this really innovative new medical device to market. And I think that rather than having me talk a little bit more about this, I have a short video I'd like to show you that better demonstrates what we're building and why we're building it. and the hairy guy lives. So if you have any other questions, we'll be out in the breakout room, and I'll be happy to answer those for you. Thank you.